See, what a lot of Nigerians don't know is Hausa and Fulani are two completely different people. We have different well, we're not the same. Even genetically, Hausas are more closer related to Igbos than they are to Fulani. Fulani is literally like Hausa and Fulani. We need to have a public divorce because you see the shit that's going on. Fulani is every problem that everyone has in northern Nigeria.
Hello everyone and welcome back. Thank you so much for stopping by once again. So my people, matters are rising. You guys know that since this recent incident in Edo State, a lot of things have been coming up when it comes to Fulani Herdsmen, which many communities are kind of ready to kick Fulani Herdsmen out from their communities because they have been waiting, crying out for government to come and help them. But because of this recent incident, people have realized that Nigerian government are not there, like they are not interested to solve the problem of insecurity. So people are now ready to defend themselves against these terrorists. So in this particular video, this is an Hausa man. He cried out to tell Nigerians like the difference between Hausas and Fulanis. You guys know that most of us from the south, we always believe that Hausa and Fulani, they are kind of the same, right? But in this particular video, according to him, he said that it is high time for Hausas to come out publicly to divorce Fulanis. But a lot of people are still saying that it is too late for Hausas because Fulanis have already conquered them. But I want you guys to just listen and hear everything that he said here, as well as reactions from people.
What a lot of Nigerians don't know is Hausa and Fulani are two completely different people. We have different well, we're not the same. Even genetically, Hausas are more closer related to Igbos than they are to Fulani. Fulani is literally like Hausa and Fulani. We need to have a public divorce because you see the shit that's going on. Fulani is every problem that everyone has in northern Nigeria with the north. It's with Fulani. But there is a small group who infiltrated the Hausas. I am Hausa, he's Fulani. We are complete. We don't speak the same language. The only thing we have in common is Islam. These people originally, Nigerian Fulanis originally, you look at them, they're not even from Nigeria, right? Okay, let's give it, they've come to Nigeria, they're now Nigerian, fuck it. They live in the north, fuck. We're not the same people. Hausa Fulani is the same thing as saying Igbo Ibibio or Yoruba Irobo. We are literally not the same. And Hausas, unless we come out and start disowning these people, everyone in Nigeria is going to hate us. Because anyone that's watching, do you know what's going on? So, Fulani herdsmen, they're a group of people in Nigeria. His people, Fulanis, they're herdsmen. They're lawless in Nigeria. They have guns. They're the only people in Nigeria who are allowed to carry guns. They have guns. They walk around all of Nigeria. They'll go to anywhere. They'll go into anyone's farm and they'll let loose their sheep on their cows on the farms, right? If the owners of the farm try to fight back, and the government does nothing because the Fulanis are a very powerful, tiny minority in Nigeria. But they hide under now, I'm Hausa, we're a majority in Nigeria. The Fulanis now see themselves they hide as a subgroup under Hausas. So they now use they fooled Hausas into thinking that we are not one. They need to be beaten in. I take that back. We don't need to be beating people like this, but the idea has been planted.
What no man has joined together, hey, let no man put us under. I think it is late for an Hausa man or for the Hausa people to come out to publicly disown the Fulanis. As far as we are concerned, we have seen how the Hausa people have laid claims to be one with the Fulanis. While we in the South know that the Hausas were conquered under the Uthman Dan Fodio jihad within a period of 50 years. The jihad started in 1804. But before that time, Uthman Dan Fodio had already penetrated the Hausa kingdom, who were largely pagans in those years. Within a period of 17 1875 to 1804, Usman Danfodio integrated himself into the traditions of the Hausas. They moved largely from the Biu in Burkina Faso, Senegambia, Futajalon. These were the places they moved down into Kano State because they found that Kano was an arable land, a green land filled with fertile soil. And they saw it that this is a place we could reside. Indeed, we could even usurp their lands. And within a period of 30 years or more, which Madam Fodio integrated so well, when it got to the time he was ready to take the political power, then he did what we call, sex evangelism. They began to give out their children, which were majorly females, to the kings of the Hausa people, because the Fulanis were mostly light skinned. They were light skinned. These were people who were barbers. They were just like, have you seen the Moroccans? Have you seen the Mauritius? Light skinned. These are people who are more or less like the descendant of the Moors who conquered Spain in the 15th century when the Ottoman Empire was at its peak, and then they migrated down into Africa from Spain, right from Egypt, Tunisia, and co. These were their ancestors. Usman Danfodio knew what he was doing when he got into the Hausa land because they were largely illiterate. Usman Danfodio brought in education to the Hausa people, which of course was Arabic. All right, he taught them the Islam, he taught them how to read and write the Quran. And when it got to a point that he felt, okay, I have civilized these people, but there's only one thing that I've not been able to achieve: the political power. And that was when he started his conquest. That conquest, past 250 years, is still as influential as at 1804 when it began. We can see today that there's no Hausa man that can achieve any political post in an Hausa land without the approval of a Fulani man. You can see the Ados, Bayaros, the Sanusis, the Sultanates within the axis of Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, Kano, Kaduna, Gombe, Bauchi, all of them are being controlled by the Fulani oligarchs. So for the Hausa man to come out today and tell us in the South that we should take note that we are not the same. In fact, that Gothic Aboki that we just watched his video at the beginning of this my conversation, he said the Hausa people are genetically even closer to the Igbos. Though I've started seeing Igbo comments who are saying that for we talk, God forbid, we can never. But one thing I know is the Hausa people naturally, in their natural form, ab initio, are very tolerant. Yes, the Hausa people are very, very tolerant, very friendly. You will see that the Hausa people will have closer ties with Igala, with the Biroms, with the Gwari people of the Southern Kaduna people. So the Hausa people were largely farmers. These were people who would just welcome you if you're a stranger, who are ready to give you a shelter. They don't see you as an enemy instantly. You approach them, and they don't ever think of maybe usurping your land whatsoever. But when the likes of Usman Danfodio got into their midst, they got radicalized. they got manipulated of the Fulani hegemony. I mean, what we see today is the Hausas are at best voters. That's what they are. They're at best voters, voting the Fulani people into power. In Kano State, the guy who is there is, of course, a Fulani man. In Katsina State, which was predominantly an Hausa land, but go and check the governors, the past governors. Historically, they have always been a Fulani man. Look at the presidential positions within the period of 90s, pre-colonial era, into the colonial era, into the post-colonial era. Who are those that have always held on to the political positions in the core north? These have always been the Fulanis. And somehow the Fulanis have been able to have an incursion into the Middle Belt. It got to a point they had an incursion into Adamawa. Adamawa, which was never original Fulani land. In fact, they had one of the bloodiest war in Adamawa, whereby they dethroned the local chiefs. They installed, because they tried to penetrate the El Kanemi Empire, which was the what? The El Kanemi are in the Borno, the Maiduguri. Because they failed, they descended on Adamawa. So this their descent into Adamawa, they almost 95% annihilated all the local chiefs who were the original land owners of that place. But we can see that over 200 years later, Fintiri, Governor Fintiri of Adamawa State today, has done one thing nobody has got the balls to do in the past 2 centuries. He collected the titles from the Fulanis, the chieftaincy titles, and he gave it back. He returned it back to the original owners of those titles. These were titles that dates back 500, 700, 800 years ago. But all of a sudden, when the Fulanis, invaded the land, they just usurped everything that has to do with the local chiefs. Imagine the Borgu of Niger if the Fulanis have their way. It will no longer be a Nupe man that will become the Etse of Nupe. It will no longer be a Nupe man that will become the Borgu of Nigeria. It will now be a Fulani man. Is that not what they were trying to do in the Alafin of Oyo? Is that not what they were trying to do with the Alafin of Oyo when they wanted to push a man who got trained, indoctrinated in the palace of the Sultan? But thankfully to Sheyi Makinde, who saw the inadequacies, who saw this is a trick from my northern brothers. If I let this guy get into that Emir Palace, they will go in there and dilute the Yoruba culture, because that is what they will do. Look at what is going on in Iwo. Right? Just take a look at what is going on in Iwo of Oniwo land. When that man was about to become the king, he went through the rites, the traditional rites every Yoruba king will go through, wherein they go into a coven, they spend 20-something days, they eat all manners of sacrifices. But when he came out, he got married to a Fulani woman, and all of a sudden, he said he doesn't believe anymore in the gods of the Yorubas. That what he believes in is a God that resides in Medina, Mecca. And we know what is going on today in Offa, wherein the tradition of the Yoruba is now being eroded. It is now being eroded. They no longer have chief priests come into the palace to, check using the divinity, using the Orumila and all those things. They don't check, they don't ask the deities anymore. What they now have in the palace of Offa is The Islamic clerics are the ones that go in there, do the preaching. Offer has now become a ghost, a shadow of itself. This was the plan of the northern hegemonies with the Fulani, with the Oyo highest, most powerful seat, which is the Alaafin of Oyo. If they had succeeded, within a period of 3-4 years, you start seeing that the Alaafin of Oyo is now an ardent Muslim. He will now become the man who said he's against Shango worshipping. Before you know it, they'll start placing ban on traditional worshippers, just as they have it done in Osun State. The last time that we saw a woman, an Obatala worshipper, on a day that they celebrate Obatala, she was almost stoned to death by Muslim clerics, and these are Arabic scholars who are Yorubas. Well, because the king of the land approves it, that anything that is against Islam should be condemned in its entirety. This was what gave them the impetus. So the Hausa Fulanis, the Hausas, or whatever they are called, at this stage, like the song that I sang at the beginning, what God has joined together, let no man put asunder. The Hausa people, when you go there, they will tell you, hey, we are one. In fact, there is a new there's a new tribe now. When you have a form in Nigeria, when they want to fill it, they will write Hausa Fulani. You know what that means? The Fulani have been able to colonize the Hausa people, and the Hausa people cannot confidently stand on their own and say that this is who we are. They have no any opportunity to rise across the political ladder without the position, without the approval, without the nod of the Fulani hegemonies. Una don't enter them. Una don't enter them. There's no way out of it. There's no way out of it. Look at Kano State. A Kano State, I don't think they've ever had one Hausa man who is their governor. That's always been Fulanis. Aba Gida Gida, Kwankwaso, what's it called? The very popular man, Kwankwasia. Then we had the last one before this, Aba Gida Gida, who is the current APC chairman. All of them, go and check them. Fulani. Go to Kaduna, Fulani. Whenever a Fulani man is not there, you know what will happen? They will plan a coup, or they'll just do something to frustrate him, or they just kill him. That's what they do. Go to Zamfara, go to Katsina, go to Bauchi. Bauchi was, let me tell you the story of Bauchi. Bauchi were at a point predominantly Christians. Bauchi has a direct connection with Plateau State. And during the colonial era, the Plateau people were they were cousins with the Bauchi people. This is the pre-colonial era, So the Bauchi was largely tolerant. Most Igbos had a pathway into Bauchi. If you go to Bauchi, especially in southern Bauchi, you find a lot of Igala, Birom, Langtang. Southern Bauchi was predominantly Christians, and they started having their tentacles even into the northern Bauchi. But you know what happened? When the jihad came, Bauchi became the slave capital city of Udmandan Folio. Bauchi became the slave capital city of Utmandan Folio. And that is why we have today that amongst all the states in Northeast, where you have the largest numbers of Fulanis is Bauchi State. Yes, a state that was never meant for Fulanis. I can argue that even Bauchi has more Fulanis than Kano State. This is why you see Bala Muhammad, the governor, will come out and say that my state is a Fulani state because we are 85 Fulanis with Fufudes. In fact, if you check their state logo, you will see what they wrote there. It is a cow head, which means that they are pastoral farmers. And when you want to connect the dots, who are those that are largely known for cattle rearings? In Nigeria, we know it is not the Hausas, because the Hausas are largely farmers. It is not the Igbos, because we know that the Igbos also are largely farmers. It is not the Yorubas, because the Yorubas, we know them too, because they are largely farmers. It is not the Gwari, because we know that the Gwari people are also largely farmers. We know that those who can die or kill for a cow are the Fulanis, and this is their agenda. So for the Hausas to come out seeking for a differentiation, I don't know, but as for the Yorubas, we know that the Hausa and the Fulanis will not be the same. They don't tie una placenta together. There is no going back, because if a Fulani man is not in a position where he is being discussed, an Hausa man will defend him. That's the truth. A Fulani man might not reciprocate the same thing for the Hausa man, but an Hausa man has accepted his faith to serve the Fulani man all his life. That is just the plain truth. That is what it is. It is just the plain truth. So you trying to come out and say that, well, it is too late. The Middle Belts know their identity. They did not lose their identity. But I can categorically say that the Hausa people have lost their identity. I don't think they have any tradition that they still observe today that has not been infiltrated, that has not been diluted by the Fulani hegemony. Because all the kings and chiefs of the Hausa land today are being held by the Fulanis, who of course would have changed it to suit their narrative.
So my people, that is it. As I make I bring this update to you guys. And right now, we can differentiate like who is Hausa and who is Fulani, because most of the time people said that Hausa people are peaceful people. The problem we are facing right now is Fulani, especially Fulani herdsmen. And this is the reason why you see all this outcry that Nigeria government need to act now in order to solve the insecurity. If not, it's going to get worse. And thank God that the DSS director said that we should defend ourselves against all these terrorists. So my people, as I make I bring this update to you guys, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, share it, and leave your thoughts in the comment section. I'll see you guys in my next update. Goodbye for now.
Welcome to